Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to our show, Community Issues Group. I'm here with, to my left, Naeem Sharif and Brother Benjamin Shabazz. Brother Benjamin Shabazz, could you bring us in?
Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. With the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Ameen.
Amen.
So we're gonna do movie reviews today, and I'm gonna do If Beale Street Could Talk, and then the brothers have some other movies they've seen.
With the Mule, Bumblebee,
Okay.
And Mortal Engines.
Mortal Engines.
Okay. So do you want me to start? Okay, so If Beale Street Could Talk was a novel by James Baldwin, and Barry Jenkins, the writer and director of Moonlight, he adapted the novel and he directed If Beale Street Could Talk. And the budget was $12 million, and I believe as of yesterday it had made $5 million. So it's not a box office smash, but it's a real good movie. And the plot is basically Fonnie and Trish are in love, and Fonnie ends up getting put in jail. And this is taking place in New York in the early 70s. And Beale Street is, I believe, a street in downtown Memphis where there's a lot of blues clubs. And so there's Regina King in it and Michael Beach. Regina King plays Trisha's mother, and Michael Beach plays Fonnie's dad. There's some other actors. Kiki Lang is Trish. Stephen James is Fonnie. Coleman Domingo plays Trisha's dad, and Ajane Ellis plays Fonnie's mother. And so the families are kind of split apart because Fonnie's mom thinks she's better than Trisha's family. And
Hold on, slow down. You said somebody got put in jail.
yeah, Fonnie.
Who is that?
He's the main character, the love interest of Trish.
Okay.
And so the families are kind of split apart. And,
So what did he get put in jail for?
I don't want to say. I want to leave it.
Okay.
Leave it. Just
Okay.
giving you a taste.
All right.
And so the movie is good because it talks about the criminal justice system, but so the families are split apart, but they have to come together to try to get Fonnie out of jail. So that's like the conflict. The biggest conflict in the movie is trying to help Fonnie gain his freedom so he could be with his family, like start his family.
Well, one thing you mentioned, it's a very good movie, and a lot of times very good movies are movies with, I should say, a lot of substance. They don't put them on too many venues in a city. You know, when some places, movie might be on what they call 10 screens, 10 movie houses or more in the area.
Right.
And then if they're really, like you're saying, something that is very, that goes into some very deep stuff, you might be in a big city, it might only be 2 venues that you could see the movie at.
Right.
And that's when a lot of times it's really something of substance. If it's not at a whole lot of places, and then the first week they might show it at several times, and that second week it might be on 1 or 2 times late at night. So yeah, so and especially if you find out if it's a really good movie with substance, they don't push it out that much. I've seen advertisements for the movie, but Then when you go to look at the movie places, oh,
Right.
it's not here, it's not here, it's not. Oh, it's here, and then it's 20 miles away over here.
Right.
And you say, okay, it's like that.
They did that for Whitney Houston. They put a movie out about her.
Oh, is that right?
And I fooled around and missed it.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah, it was like what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I heard everyone that has seen it has said it's really good. So I might try to go see it tomorrow. And
Yeah, there's a scene with Daniel Fonny's friend where they reconnect after being not seeing each other for years, and they're like in Fonny's basement apartment hanging out, and like it gets really quiet, and Daniel's like, man, I did 2 years in jail, and he said they accused me of stealing a car, and he's like, I can't even drive. But he had drugs on him, but you know there was no probable cause to stop him.
Yeah.
And he said he took a plea bargain of 2 years, and like so it stops for a minute. And he says, I see what Malcolm and them brothers was talking about. He's like, the white man gotta be the devil. The stuff he saw in the criminal justice system. So I mean, it was like I don't know, like, you know, we didn't get introduced to James Baldwin's literature,
Right.
but like stuff like that is like, wow, you know, like eye-opening, you know.
So, is it a must-see?
Yes, yeah. I mean, you probably won't be able to see it because it's not at a lot of theaters, but when it comes to like streaming and DVD and stuff, go get it.
But so I think it's still out, right?
Yeah, it's still
so
out.
So if you're going to see it quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very quick.
It probably won't be out much longer.
Family movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Even with some of the hard
I mean,
topics in it?
Yeah, especially for young people, like they need to see.
What age are you talking about when you say young people?
Probably like PG-13. But if you have like
what's
what's
that mean?
10-year-old, somebody who knows kind of what's going on, I think they should see it because it shows you like how the past is and what's still going on today.
Okay.
You know, it's like, it's not a game kind of movie.
What about younger than 10?
Maybe not.
What I mean by that is there hardcore sex scenes in there and a lot of violence and things like that?
There is sex scene. There's a sex scene. But I mean, it's like in good taste. It's not.
Okay.
But
All right.
I think, you know, that this is one that's gonna stay around, this movie. You know?
Okay. All right. Okay. So let's move on.
All right.
What was the next movie we had on the docket?
Let's see, Mortal Engines, Mule, and Bumblebee.
Let's do Bumblebee last.
Okay.
Mortal Engines.
Okay. Did you see that? You didn't see that one?
I didn't see any of
You've
these.
seen Mortal Engines,
Yeah,
right?
did you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's go.
Yeah, okay. You got some cards? The Mortal Engines, we saw it, me and my son Jamal, we saw a preview of it when we were in New York at the New York Comic-Con. And I think this is the movie, so we went to see a screening of it, you know, a preview of it. And there in Madison Square Garden, they have a theater inside Madison Square Garden. They got everything in Madison Square Garden. So long and the short of it, so we went in there, and if I'm remembering correctly, so they said, we're going to show you Mortal Engines. You know, that's not how they said it, but we're going to show you Mortal Engines, basically. We're going to show you a 10-minute preview. And so then they got, you know, how they get the crowd all roared up. Oh, you know, matter of fact, we're going to show you 15 minutes of it. Yeah, the crowd, you know, this is Comic-Con crowd, New York City crowd. Yeah. So they said, we're going to show you 20 minutes. Yeah, 20 minutes. Matter of fact, we're just going to show you 30 minutes of it. So they showed us 30 minutes of it, you know. So I said, oh yeah, I got to see this movie when it came out. And what it basically is, it's these giant cities that are movable. They move across the earth because the earth has gone through a whole bunch of stuff. And, you know, so that concept was pretty cool. And then how these things move and how there's people that live inside these contraptions that are actually cities. And then they go and some of these cities, they go and dominate other cities, you know. So that the effects were pretty cool. And that in that concept, you know, you have cities, you know, gobbling up other cities, you know, and you had to be a fast rabbit to try to get away. But I thought that, you know, that was different, and the effects were pretty cool. And then the imagination of these cities, and then when these cities get on the move, some of the stuff closes up, and they, you know, get more streamlined, and then, you know, just the whole thing. It was to me, it was a fun movie in terms of just the concept, you know.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. It's an excellent action adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, intrigue.
Yeah.
And what I liked about it, there were black people in the movie that were not being disrespected
Mm-hmm.
or put in those little poop butt roles,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I liked it, that part.
Mm-hmm.
And good versus evil,
Yeah.
and what people would do to get power over other people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
How was the CGI? Was it really good? Or?
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. You felt, because this thing was moving. This movie was moving. The cities were moving. The characters were moving. You had to keep up with the characters, you know, what this person was going to do, and it just showed you how greed was, you know, and how, you know, just other powers will just devour you. You know, I think it was a metaphor of society.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
that they just, you know, will gobble you up and just make you, you know, something to fuel our power source. You know, so
Who were some actors in it?
I couldn't tell you the name of the actors. I don't know if Ben remembers any of the name of the actors, but it was different. You know, it was different, and it just kind of made you think. You know, it's human history. You know, you got these, you know, corrupt people who, you know, you get rid of one corrupt person, and another one comes later on. You know, years later, or, you know, decades later. You know, you think you got rid of it, and it just, you know, just keep on popping up.
But you know, the thing behind that, it seems to be always a trend, even in real life, is people wanting complete domination over the world,
Mm-hmm.
or you know, or close as they can get to it.
Right.
That seems to be a driving force for people. You know,
Mm-hmm.
just want to dominate everybody
Yeah.
and everything.
Everybody, everything. Yeah. Yeah.
So now, is this the movie where they had the girl who was saved today, the young girl, and it was a Asian girl in it too?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I thought that might have been a different movie.
Yeah, something didn't mean
Yeah.
no. Yeah, that was good. They had some strong personalities.
Man, she was an ass kicker, wasn't she, man? Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She didn't.
Was she a cartoon?
Mm-mm.
It was okay.
No, it wasn't. No.
She reminded me of, you remember that Asian movie that came out, the dragon, something about the
Crouching Tiger.
Crouching Tiger.
Yeah,
Crouching
yeah,
Tiger. Yeah, she reminded me of her.
Yeah.
You know, real cutie pie.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, she didn't take no mess.
Papa ain't taking
No
mess.
mess, boy.
Yeah.
So was it a must see?
Must see.
Yeah, the difference between that and Aquaman for me, you felt more engaged in Mortal Engines. You know, even though it was fiction, you can still feel more engaged because stuff was moving. You know, you imagine big cities moving and going and so forth, and then inside the cities you had stuff that was going on and moving. So, yeah, it was well done, I thought.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So, must see?
Oh yeah, must see.
And get the DVD for your collection.
There you go.
All right. So next movie.
So you got Mule and Bumblebee, and you got about 13 minutes.
Okay. Well, let me just run through Mule real quick.
Okay.
Okay. You know, I was a Clint Eastwood fan from a little kid.
Yeah.
You know, and then he started supporting Trump.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I was what they call it, crestfallen. Him and Bruce Willis, you know, crestfallen.
Yeah.
Because these cats, you could relate to their personality to some degree. But anyway, so I wasn't gonna see Mule.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna see none of them cats movies, man.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't go to see it. I just kind of stumbled into it.
Yeah.
And typical Clint Eastwood old man movie. You know, he plays an old man real good.
Yeah.
With old people's problems and everything. And so, but what I did see in the movie, just like what I saw in some of Bruce Willis's movies lately, is propaganda. Propaganda against Mexicans. Yeah.
Well, you know, they're all, murderers and rapists.
Yes, yes. So I was looking at some of the comments on Facebook, right? All the positive comments were from older white folks, conservative white folks. You know, so this whole thing was propaganda about that wall. You know, Mexicans are coming into the country, destroying the country with drugs, gangs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's all. To me, that's all Mule was.
So what is the plot? Is
They was trying to figure out to use somebody to transport drugs back and forth, and you know, an older person. One of those trucks they had, you know, with them Dodges or something. It's not a new truck, but you know, you see an older person driving down the street, you would think that they're not a good candidate for that. So nobody would stop them. That's what I'm saying. You know. Yeah, but so as a student, a scientist of propaganda, it's a good movie to watch. But just the fact to go out and go see it, don't waste your money. Don't waste your money.
You know, Bruce Willis got a movie coming out this weekend.
What's the name of it?
Mr. Glass.
Oh yeah. But he's starring with 4 other people.
Yeah.
With Samuel L. Jackson and a couple more people. Yeah. And Bruce Willis, he comes in with like, what was that, Pulp Fiction? Remember he was in that one with a conglomeration of different actors, you know, popular actors, you know. But he made a movie just by himself one time, you know. There was no pure propaganda, man. He was a vigilante. Yeah, I said, look, this ain't nothing but an advertisement for Trump. That's all it is. And that's what Mule was, advertisement for Trump. So, you see it if you're a scientist of propaganda, it's worth seeing. Other than that, the only message is for build that wall, build that wall, build that wall.
Oh, you mean the one that Mexico is going to pay for?
Yeah, the one that Mexico is going to pay for.
That one.
Yeah.
They're going to write a check for it, yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
All right. While we got 10 minutes?
No, we got about 7 minutes or so.
What time the show end? 28 minutes, ain't it?
Yeah, you're right. You got about 8 minutes.
Okay.
8 minutes.
Bumblebee.
Let's
get into who's seen it.
I haven't seen it.
Okay. I guess I'm the only one. So
you're the one.
Let me run it down real quick. Bumblebee is part of that Transformers thing. Yeah. And Bumblebee was sent to Earth because, you know, they're having the galactic wars, the Transformers, you know, and they sent him to Earth as like an outpost or something to warn the people of Earth, you know, that these other Transformers are dangerous and out here, and to prepare against them. And you know, Bumblebee was always like sidekick character with the rest of the big guys. What's his name? It's Tomatron and Chocotron and
Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime, yeah. And so now he's the main character, you see. And he befriends this young girl. Now I'm gonna say young white girl, I'm saying that deliberately because her neighbor is a young brother, right? And they kind of get together in dealing with the people that's out to get Bumblebee. You know? But, so a family movie, that's one of those movies you can throw on, you know, if you invite people over for the holidays or something, you can just throw it on, you know, and then everybody's gonna come and, you know, and watch it like that. Now, the moral of the story, has a good moral to it. You know, not to tell you the end and everything, but it's kind of like an adventure movie too. And then it's kind of like a growing up movie for the two young people involved, you know, because they were like young teenagers. They were adolescents, you know, both the kids, the brother and the young lady. Then they showed the interaction between her and her parents, what that was like. You know, they never showed the brother's parents, although they lived next door.
Oh, okay.
You know, they lived right next door.
Next door.
They never showed the brother's parents. But, and in saying that, to say, you know, I had somebody turned me on to a tape one time. It was called "Is There Racism in Movies?" Right. So, I plugged the tape in, and you know how you thinking about, you can pick out racism, but what you picking out is obvious stuff. You know, somebody calls somebody a nigger or something like that, you know. Oh, look at the racism. But there's this real subtle stuff that goes on in these movies that if you're not geared to watch it, it just passes you by. And one of the things they say in these movies is that they will have a person of power that's black in charge of something, right?
Okay.
And then they will have a say the person of power is in the military. They will have a non-military person either be a youngster or a woman that's a scientist or something, you know, that's not connected to any power structure in the military, completely overpower this person in the military, you know, with her knowledge or understanding of things. But not only that, her demeanor, she'll be hollering and screaming at it. And so this tape that I had, they sample different movies and they show you where this idea is put in there. So I always look for it, right?
Yeah.
So in Bumblebee, you know, there's the military's involved in it, right? To prevent the people from outer space taking over. And Glenn Turbin is the big 25-star general sitting up in the room, and he never knows what's going on, you know? He never knows what's going on here, you know? But his character in his life, his other characters were strong characters.
Right.
So I said, look at this, man. They used him in this thing, you know? Now that was just one example. The other example is that I think they call these people auxiliary people. They'll have a black person in the movie that has no name, stardom, or anything, just a black person. And then they'll show you somebody come along and completely undermine the strength of their character. Now, they didn't really have a character, right? So how they played this one out, the young girl goes to the mechanic shop, and there's a brother working in the place, and he's under the hood, and he's working like this. You don't see his face, right? And she starts to walk by, and he says, "Let me get a 3/8," you know? And he holds out his hand like for somebody to hand him a 3/8, right? She hands him a 1/2 inch, right? And so he looks at it and he said, "I told you to give me a 3/8. I don't use no 1/2 inch." And he puts it on the thing, and it fits perfectly. And she said, "It takes a 1/2 inch." And then he sticks his head out of the thing, you know. And then you see, it's a black man, an elder, her elder. But so the way that little scene played, you know, she just punked him off. She already knew, right? And he's the mechanic. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just a little subtle thing like that. I said, look at these, man. Look at this stuff, man.
There was a thing on Perry Mason, it's an old show, and they had a black judge on there one time, which was shocking. So I'm looking at the credits at the end of the thing. I just want to know who it was, you know. Oh, but the black judge never said anything. Perry Mason said what he had to say. Hamiltonberger had to say what he had to say. He might have nodded, maybe if he did, but nothing else. He was just like that. And so anyway, I'm looking for the credits. At the end of the show, I'm looking for the judge. They didn't put him in the credits. I said, that's cold. And he was the judge. And then, you know, you see other episodes of Perry Mason, they'll tell you everybody, you know, be two things. This was the judge. And then you look at all the other judges in there, their names was on there, but they didn't put his name on. Now, this was like early 1960 stuff, but still, they all the white judges, they put their name, but this one who was a black judge, which was amazing, they did not put his name. I said, that's cold, man.
Yeah, this thing goes on.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like they do it so subtly, you know, but the message is there.
Yeah.
It's implanted in your brain, you know, that black people, even if they have power, they don't have power.
Oh, I know he must have been Clarence Thomas's father.
Yeah, it could have been. I mean,
no, not good. I'm just making a joke.
Yeah,
because he just went along with the program. He didn't say nothing.
So, what I just talked about, what you and I just talked about, isn't a lot of stuff. I guess we're kind of just bringing it out.
Yeah.
You know, so you can kind of be looking for it. I had to say this part, even though we're getting off course from Bumblebee.
Okay, we got about a minute.
But let's just talk Bumblebee. It's another great family movie.
Okay.
You know, I mean, you know, you go in and the kids are gonna like it. You're gonna like it. A lot of action, a lot of that machine action.
Yeah.
You know, so you remember the movie Goldfinger? Not Goldmember.
Austin Powers.
Austin Powers. What was the name of that?
There was
Well,
Spy
whatever.
Who Shagged Me, Gold Member.
Whatever, yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, get to the point there.
So they had the supreme judge of the earth was a lady, a black lady, right? And Austin Powers was on trial, you know, and they asked him, do you have anything to say? And he said, no. He said, but Mini-Me does. You know, he got a little Mini-Me.
Right.
And he puts Mini-Me up on the stand, and Mini-Me turns around and pulls his pants down in her face, you know. And she says, this is outrageous, you know. And then they go to something else.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
like
saying?
Like you say, it's in there.
Yeah.
Well, we thank our audience. Thank you very much for watching, and peace and prayers.